Hello everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from Inner Sphere, episode 434. And today we're going to be talking about the Hydra Protomech. It's, 6 tons, kind of slow. It's a 460 base model. So, yeah, there's not much to be really excited about it. For speed-wise, it's kind of tossed into that Inner Sphere Succession War style movement. So 460, not very fast, which makes it a fairly easy target when you get one of these up close. Now, on the other hand, with the slow speed comes a lot more armor than the predecessors that usually came before it. Now you're looking at 10 points of armor in the chest and the torso area, and usually 7 or 8 in the legs, along with the internal structure. So it can take a hit and keep on ticking. So if you hit this thing in the center torso with a large laser of either Inner Sphere or the clans, it can handle it and then keep on going. It'll blow arms off. Legs, on the other hand, you'll be into the juicy innards, but it could still be moving, even though it's going to be even slower, such as the first hit would going to knock it down to being a 3-5 moving Protomech. All right, so you got that not really going for it. Now, the battle value comes in at 209, and with that 209 battle value, you get, let's see, a micropulse laser in the torso, and the main gun is a Streak 3. Yeah, Streak 3. So you got one weapon system that goes out to 3, which is standard when you think about it in battle armor terms. Like the clan small laser equivalent. So it's not dishing out a lot of damage, but you got a little bit swinging and be able to hit with it. Then you have the Streak 3, goes out to 12. Not a lot of damage, more of harassment style Protomech, to be honest. It's being slow. It's going to be on the hard end of getting it into battle unless you're fighting in a cityscape or heavy terrain like woods and excess buildings and stuff in the way. But then again, you're looking at the limitation of no jump jets, so it's got to force its way down streets and stuff and moving around terrain to be able to get into range. And it's going to take it a while because, if you're used to fighting Inner Sphere style battles where, you got most of your stuff is 4-6 movers, you'd be right at home. But if you're a clanner and you're used to things just flying across the table, this you're looking at it and going, man, I feel like I'm in molasses. All right, so you're moving slow, and then which means it's going to die a lot faster if you poke its head out. So it's more of an ambush style. You poke yourself out, ambush, possibly do some damage, and then hope and pray that it survives the confrontation. And probably not. So a couple good hits from a medium or heavy mech will tear this thing up. So there's that. One thing you have to look at. Now, there's the second, the Hydra 2. Now, this one's a little bit different, a little interesting. They looked at it and say, hey, we definitely need some mobility on these things. And so they got rid of the micropulse laser, which in turn gets rid of the heat sinks that are on board, gives you more tonnage to play with. And they upgraded the Streak 3 to Streak 5. All right. You have a battle value of 223, which is a little bit more, 14 more points versus the previous version. The weapons damage output is probably going to be comparable. You toss in an extra possible 4 points. If you lock in with a Streak 5, obviously you're going to be doing 10 points of damage and little 2-point shots. But now you're 4-6-3. So now you have jump jets. So you have the capability to get over terrain or into terrain, leap over small buildings or up onto a small building and then onto a next taller building that's closer. All right, you can leapfrog your way up. That's a possibility. But you also, there's the big expense that comes with this one is that they took some armor away. So now it's like you got 5 points of armor in the torso versus what was it 7? 10 before. So yeah, they cut the armor in half. You still got all the crit spots inside, but it's like 1 point of armor on the arms. So really, you hit this thing with a large laser in the legs. See, there's 3, 5, 8. Yeah, you're taking the legs right off if you hit it with even an inner sphere large laser. Now, an ER medium laser from the clans will still leave a point left, but yeah, you just hurt that thing pretty hard. And it'd be limping along going, oh, I wish I had some legs. So yeah, that's the Hydra 2. Once again, falls under the ambush style of Protomech. You got to keep this thing under wraps, keep it hidden, and then when it pops out, if you got a point of these, like 5 of them, yeah, you can do some good damage, especially on a mech that's been tore up, got some open spots. Yeah, then you can really do some good work and possibly get some crits rolling at the expense of some cheap battle value getting lost. So something to think about. Possibility, maybe. All right. Then we got the Hydra 3. All right. This one is sped up. It is now a 585 mover. It's a 247 battle value, so they increased the battle value by, 30-some points. Let's see, 38? Yeah, I think it's 38. And you have an LRM-6. It goes out to 21. Okay. Now with the LRM-6, you're now looking at some more options. You got something that can work with cavalry operations and get over terrain, move around. It does come with some good armor on board. Let's see, we got 9 points on the center torso, 6 on the legs, and 3 in the arms. So still, you can hit this thing and tear it to pieces. But with an LRM-6, yes, you can fire at point-blank range because clan weapons don't have a minimum range, so there's that. The average damage output's probably going to be 4, because the average roll typically on the 6 chart's going to result in a 4 damage, which is not bad for a harassment-style weapon system. And you are able to, look over and even do the indirect kind of fires and that kind of thing. So it is more of a harassment. Now there's no backup weapon system like an AP Gauss rifle or anything of that nature. So it is susceptible to your typical infantry attacks, but you're faster than your typical infantry, so you can get away from them if you have to. It's like, oh, there they are again. I'm going to move out of the way. Leave that to the next version that's coming up. Leave it to them to tear up the infantry. But I can see this one being more useful because you can move it around the board a little bit faster, do some harassment shots on targets of opportunity. Most likely it's like you're trying to get them into the flanks, and then you're just adding your little bit of firepower that you do have to whatever mechs you may have. They're bombarding a target. It's like these guys can like, oh, we're going to take on this guy here and rain down fire on them. Now the worst thing is that you eventually, that the ammo is going to disappear, but that is what it is. Versus like the first 2, which have streak systems, which are I'd fire or I don't fire. It's going to last longer in the battle that way. So there's one thing or the other. Now, would I increase the battle value of these by putting some 3 pilots in them with their gunnery? That's hard to say. I really don't think Protomechs are worth putting extra battle value into. They're more of a harassment style weapon system. Just think of them more in terms of drone warfare. They get in the way, but if you lose them, that's a little bit of battle value lost, and they can do a good job of if you're facing off against mechs that don't have jump jets, you can channel your targets into areas that you want to, force them to go around them, or try to get up and try to kick them or something of that nature, and get into physical combat. So there's that. So it's like something that gets in the way. Just what I think about that way. Now, the next one, the Hydra 4, comes in at 221 battle value, is a 4.60, so you got rid of your jump jet, so now you're back to being a slow-moving little pig. You still got now this one has 12 armor on the torso, you got 4 armor in the arms, and 8 in the legs. So yes, you can take on some inner sphere targets and survive for a while, possibly, unless they focus fire on and unleash onto you and tear them to pieces, which they can do because it's a slower mover. But this one has an AP Gauss rifle in the torso, and the main gun is an AP Gauss rifle. So it has 2 AP Gauss rifles with 120 shots, so it can last a while. So damage output's not very high, it's only 3. Goes out to 9. So you can do some damage on targets, not a lot, but this is more geared towards the anti-infantry role because you got AP Gauss rifle, anti-personnel. So that's their job, is like, hey, you're fighting off a combined arms force. Yeah, I'm looking over there going, let's go hunting. Let's go hunting orcs, type of thing. And chop them up in little bits to mow them down. You got a point to these. They're not fast, but their job is to be causing havoc and then taking out the infantry targets. So there you go. That's pretty much how I envision these guys. So if you have a point of Hydras, 1, maybe 2 would be useful just to take care of it if there is infantry on the board. If there's not, well, they still got a decent weapon system that can do some plinky damage. Not something that's going to, hey, I got to use this, type of thing. But, it is what it is. So that is the Hydra. Let me look at the write-up. I think I got them all. Yep, that's all of them. Nothing new in it. The one I do like is the Hydra 3 with it's got the faster movement. Yeah, you don't have as much armor on board, but you got a weapon system that can go from 1 to 21 range and do some damage. So that's the one I'd probably be running around with for the most part. Yeah, if you think about a point of these, would you take 3 of the Hydra 3s, a Hydra 2 with the Streak 5, and maybe a Hydra 4 for any personnel, depending on what you're usually facing off. If you don't ever face off against infantry, never take the Hydra 4. You don't have a need for it. So I would consider taking maybe 2 Hydra 2s and maybe 3 Hydra 3s. The Hydra 2s are more of your bodyguards out front, while the Hydra 3s are raining down fire on targets for the most part, for the most of the game. And then in late term part of the game, middle of the late term, that's when the Hydra 2s start showing up and adding their weight to the game. You got to make sure that the targets that you're firing at are preoccupied with the big guns. It's like, are they going to pick on the little Protomechs, or are they going to go after the mechs that are causing havoc with you? So, and give them the quandary what they want to do. All right, so that's it. That's the Hydra. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elk Rex out.